Hey guys, it's August 24th, 2016, and it is time for another garden update. This one's a little bit overdue, and I'm gonna be completely honest with y'all. I tried making this video 2 days ago, and for some reason I lost the footage. So, here I am making it again, and luckily not much has changed in the last two days, so should be able to make it pretty much exactly the same as it was before. Maybe even better, actually, since I'm getting a second take at it. So guys, we're gonna be starting off here with our peppers. Wait. First of all, before we get to that, guys, there's going to be a couple things in the garden that are going to kind of strike you as weird and odd, but I'm going to talk about all of them, and we're going to go into each one of them slightly in depth, specifically tomatoes, because I have a rant on tomatoes, which it's kind of funny, but it's not, what's it called, that peculiar for my channel, but I have a rant on tomatoes. I'm a rant for y'all, and it's going to get pretty crazy. But first, we're going to talk about all of our peppers, guys. So these are our massive pepper plants. These are for the Tabasco peppers, and I think I told y'all last time, these guys are super easy to pick because even though they have a whole lot of little peppers, right? See all the little peppers in there? They come off super easy. So like here we have this one, and see, it just came off with my fingers. You don't need pruners to get them. Look, they just fall off when you touch them. See, it's super easy in order to get these guys. You just, oh, well, that one's not ready yet. But these guys, see? They just come off super easy once they're ready. And now you have a whole bunch of Tabasco peppers. Make some super mean salsa out of that. So I'm gonna leave these guys right here so I don't forget them. But the plants have been super huge and I love them. These guys, once they started putting on fruit, because they put on fruit a little bit later into the year than all the other peppers, but once they started putting on, they haven't stopped, guys. These, oh, a bee scared me. It's the second time today I've been scared by a bee. But the Tabasco peppers have been super, super cool. I love it so much. Hello guys, you gonna help me out with my garden update? These are my new chickens, by the way. Hi. Alright, so then now we're gonna move on to the chili super hots, guys. These guys have been constantly producing ever since I put them down. They're a lot stockier than all the other peppers, but they've still been super, super awesome and very productive. Their peppers aren't the largest, but there's a whole bunch of them. Every single little green part you guys see is a pepper, and I told y'all I kind of wait on these guys in order, because these guys, they don't just come off like the Tabasco peppers. You actually have to come in and like get them with clippers and pruners to get the peppers off that are mature. So I usually wait until about around 50% of these guys are done before I come in and pick them, just because it's so time consuming. You see, so there's a whole lot of these, and then there's actually some new growth. This is all new growth within the last month or so that has come off of these plants since it's been getting super hot, super dry heat here, and it's great. So guys, I'm gonna try and record like this just because the sun's kind of hitting my camera, and my camera has an overheating problem, so I'm kind of like shade it a little bit as I'm talking to y'all. So I hope it's not like super awkward for the audio. All right, guys, but check it out. Guys, look, rooster for scale. That's how big the plants are. You see them over there. These guys are the Santa Fe Grandes, and these guys have been crazy. They are by far the tallest and healthiest peppers in my garden. If I stand right here on the little nudge of the raised bed, and I come up here, the very topmost leaf probably comes up to like the bottom of my rib cage. It's crazy how tall these guys are. And not only are they tall, they are packed. Absolutely packed full of peppers. Like, look at all those. Look at these guys. This guy's like bending over because there's so many peppers. Like, look at this is one branch. How crazy is that? There's so many peppers. Guys, peppers like love West Texas heat. I don't think there's a better place in the world to grow peppers than in Texas. Like, look at this. Look at all those. Look at that. Albeit there is like 6 plants like in that giant mound of peppers, but that's still a whole lot of peppers, right? All right, guys, then we have our tomatillos. Guys, these guys flower, but they don't put on any fruit, and I don't really know why. They put on a little bit in the beginning of the year, but now they kind of just flower. I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing, or whether I planted them in a peculiar spot where there's like they need more or less sunlight. I'm not sure, but the plants are certainly pretty massive, and they've kind of outgrown the tomato cage I put them in, but I don't know why they're not putting on any fruit. It's kind of bamboozled me. Hello, friends. Look, even more chickens kind of showed up to the party. Cool. All right, guys. Let me go over the peppers, then I'll go over the tomatoes, because I told y'all I was going to rant about the tomatoes, and it's true, I am going to. Okay, let's... I'm trying to decide whether I want to... Oh, geez, that scared me. Little chickens. All right, guys, we're going to go over the habaneros right now. Now, these guys, the leaves are very, very broad, and they're so soft. I was feeling the leaves the other day. Like, they feel really soft for some reason, but it's super cool. I must have picked, like, 2 dozen of these the other day. And there's still a whole bunch on here, so like check it out. I just saw this one right now. That habanero ready to be picked. There's all these flowers on them. There's another one in there. It needs to be matured. Looking like the jungle of habaneros. You can see a couple back there that are ready to be picked. Okay, now this plant right here in the corner, this is actually a Santa Fe Grande. It got planted in here by accident. I don't know why, but that's why that's there, and that's why it looks a little different. But you see there's like another one right there, not yet matured. Oh man, I didn't even see these the other day. Oh my goodness. Ladies and gentlemen, we've hit the mother lode. Oh my God. Oh my goodness. Look at that, there must be like a dozen on one branch. Look at that. Oh my God. I literally did not know about that. It was like hiding from me. That's the craziest thing I've ever seen, like, elude me. Look at that. Look at all those. That's one branch, guys. Look at that. Crazy, crazy stuff. These guys are awesome. And even in the back, guys, we had a little volunteer tomato that came through. See, there's like tomato etched in here. He's putting on flowers. Hopefully we get some tomatoes out of that. But that's insane. I did not expect that many. This is crazy, guys. This is crazy. All right, guys. Now we're gonna go on to kind of a little tangent right here on the back wall next to the, or on the chain link. We got cantaloupes. Guys, cantaloupes have been going crazy. Cantaloupe, all right? Cantaloupes. It's like the size of my hand, man. Super huge. So there's even more cantaloupes on the other side that I'm gonna show y'all, but they're so awesome. All right, guys. Now we have the serrano peppers. These guys have put on a little bit of new growth over the last couple days. See, these guys are actually getting a little bit taller than they were before, and they have a whole bunch of flowers on them, which is great. And these guys, I told y'all, they haven't been like the biggest peppers, but they've been consistently producing a moderate amount of peppers. Although they're kind of small, they're kind of pudgy, but that's okay. They're still very, very hot. See, there's a couple on here that need to be picked, probably about 8 or 9. Through like 6 plants that need to be picked, so that's pretty cool. Now, guys, we get onto our Big Jim peppers. Now, these guys are pretty big too, and when I say pretty big, I say pretty big. This guy I saw the other day, he legit like fell down. Like, he was up here. Look at him. Look at him. His branches are already orientating themselves like to the side because he's down on his side. See? It's crazy how this guy, like, he just fell down because his stalk wasn't hard enough to support it. And that's partially my fault, I think, because I could have been like cropping these guys this entire time, but I haven't been doing so. Oh, look at this lettuce. It's flowering. But you see, they barely started to put on fruit. And because I didn't crop these guys, because I didn't keep them stocky, they put all of their energy into growing their stalk, and now they finally started to put on the fruit. Well, they don't have the hardened stalk to support the fruit, and now they fall over. So it's partially my fault that these guys are falling over. But look at that. That's a good looking one. And there's oh, that one's pretty. That's a pretty one right there. So there's a couple in here that haven't fallen over completely, and some of them that are barely flowering, but they're really flimsy, like really flimsy. I still like them though. They're nice. Now, and then here, guys, we have a volunteer pumpkin that just decided to start growing in here. I'm just leaving him. I'm not even gonna expect much out of him. He's volunteer. Anything that's planted volunteer, I'll gladly take. All right, guys, now we're gonna rant about my tomatoes, and they're partially the tomatoes that are here and the tomatoes that are also over there on the other side of my garden. So, you guys know, over the last 2 years, I've been planting tomatoes, and now these tomatoes have been super awesome. Like, look at them. I was thinking the other day, like, guys, the tomatoes are so big, I could probably hedge them if I wanted to. I could, like, literally cut a top across these tomatoes and hedge them, and it's just crazy how crazy these guys have grown. They rooted into like some really good soil, and it's insane. But the thing is, for as big as these guys are, they don't really put on that much fruit. They put on a little bit, right? Like you're gonna see a couple tomatoes here and there, and especially these are like cherry tomatoes, but it's not as much as other tomatoes. And the leaves are kind of small in comparison to other ones, and what's it called? They have parts of them dying off and stuff. Now these guys, I think they're not putting on as much fruit, partially because my fault. All right, it's my fault because I water these guys like crazy, guys. They get like 90% of the sun throughout the day. These guys get it, all right? These tomatoes get it, and I water them so much. I don't stress the plant out enough to where it puts on a flower and to where it's actually going to start fruiting out. I water these guys like crazy. I water every other day, and I drench these guys, and that's partially my fault, and that's partially the reason they've gotten so huge is because of that. But guys, the tomatoes, I don't even know if I'm gonna do them next year, at least not in mass like I've done them this year, just because they've given me so many problems, and I don't think they look the best, especially once they start giving me the problems. They start getting this like weird discoloration when the old like the sucker branches start dying, and once they start dying, then I have to rip them up, and now I have like a barren patch of dirt right there. So I don't know if I'm gonna do them next year, and if I do, they're not gonna be en masse like this. But I wanna show you guys these plants, because this one's kind of doing all right. Well, no, I mean, not all right, but like, what was I gonna say? It's kind of becoming kind of like the ones that we had planted here, and they ended up dying off. So I'm gonna end up eventually, within a month or two, rooting up these guys as well. But I wanted to show you guys, compare these that are like hedges to the ones I have over here. Here, guys, in zone 1, we're skipping over here just so I can show you all the tomatoes. Look at this, guys. The tomatoes, for some reason, they started dying again. This is one of the boxes we had rooted up 4 tomato plants, and then I kept these guys because they looked like they were gonna make it, and they didn't. Like, they're just all scrumbly and weird looking, right? We have a volunteer cantaloupe that came through, so I'm happy about that, because the leaves are really round and super awesome and super healthy. But for some reason, the tomatoes died again, and they died last year too. And these guys, they've started to grow a little bit in this box. I had 2 different varieties of tomatoes in this box, and they finally started to grow, and then they got spiders on them. So now the tomatoes are starting to get a little bit weird now, and I don't expect them to survive, so I'm gonna end up rooting up those guys as well. See, this is probably the only healthy one, you see, and I don't even want to waste my time and go through and like prune all these guys and help them out, because if they're gonna end up exactly like these guys did when I pruned them up and helped them out, then I don't know what to do. So that's my tomato situation, and I don't really think I'm gonna, like I told y'all, I don't think I'm gonna do them en masse like I did this year, next year. Understand? The tomatoes are great, and they may be even better in other parts of the country where you get different varying amounts of sunlight, varying humidity, varying amounts of like rain. But here where I live, West Texas, it's a super hot, dry heat, and maybe that's why my tomatoes are a little bit awkward to grow, or maybe I'm just doing them in the wrong situation. So if y'all have any tips for me growing tomatoes, and you're thinking I'm doing something wrong, please let me know, because it's just like these guys are like super awkward, right? So yeah, ooh, but we have a nice little red tomato right here. We'll see if my chickens will eat it. I just got some new chickens. Here, guys, we'll see if they eat it. All right, guys, now we're gonna move on to zone 1. Whole bunch of awesome stuff in zone 1, and yeah, look at this, guys. This cantaloupe started grabbing onto the movable, like, little chain link fence I have here, and how it moves with the chain link. It's crazy. Oh, and there's a cantaloupe on there too. I didn't even notice that. Look at that. That's super cool. So yeah, there's like a giant mass of like squash, cantaloupe, pumpkins. Speaking of pumpkins, guys, check this out. My pumpkins finally started to orange out, and that means it's basically almost ready to be harvested. And yeah, like, look, it's like the size of a small basketball, like a youth-sized basketball. So that's awesome, guys. And hopefully it's the end of August. I don't know. Do you think if I pick this one within the next week or so, do you think I'll have enough time to grow another one before Halloween? Because that would be like the ultimate test, is having like a jack-o'-lantern that you actually grew in your yard. That would be so cool, I think. All right, guys, now we're gonna get onto this box. This box is actually kind of cool because it kind of goes against the rant I was talking about earlier. Guys, we had a volunteer tomato start growing in here. I put a cage on it just for the hell of it, and it put on tomatoes, guys. Look at, there's like little itty bitty tomatoes on here, although I think these are gonna grow pretty huge. They don't look like cherry tomatoes, but like I just started growing it, so it's kind of a like complete disregard to my rant, but I think this is cool. Volunteer tomatoes just coming through, and then it's surrounded by chile de árbol. So these guys, look at this new growth that this plant put on, how dark green it is. Super awesome. And then there's peppers all throughout here. I need to come through and pick these guys. I told y'all I came through 2 days ago and made this video as well, but then I was talking about like, oh, I need to pick everything, and 2 days later I still haven't picked anything. Guys, I'm slacking it on the picking game though. But look, these are all chile de árbol as well. They look evil, evil little, like little fingers, man. The devil's fingers. And then right next to it, I get confused with this plant because they kind of overhang into one another. This is the the cayenne peppers. See, so I have a couple cayenne peppers that still need to be matured. And this cayenne pepper plant is a little bit weird. Its leaves are real scrawny, but it still does put on peppers, so I don't think it's any worse for wear. See, there's, oh, look at all these bright green peppers. Those are looking really nice. And obviously we have our giant mess of cantaloupes just all in here, but these vines don't really put on anything. I've noticed cantaloupes usually only put on fruit whenever they are able to grab onto something. They don't put it on when they're just trailing on the ground. And then back here, guys, back in towards the bottom of the box. You guys remember when we used to be able to see the boxes clearly? Now you only see like little outlines of the boxes. Remember when we used to be able to see them clearly? Everything is so overgrown, ladies and gentlemen. It's insane. Everything's overgrown. It's hard to tell what is what. So I hope y'all can forgive me when I say, oh, look at this plant. And you're like, what plant? So yeah. And here, ladies and gentlemen, is another cayenne pepper plant with a whole bunch of little cayenne peppers on it. Super awesome. I like how these guys are growing, and they put on a little bit of new growth. These guys put on a little bit of new growth over the last couple weeks or so. Then we had our eggplant. It's getting a slight discoloration. That's a volunteer eggplant, by the way, and a little basil under it. Volunteer basil. But that was a volunteer. Oh, geez, a bee. Ah! Okay, that's the third time I've been scared by a bee today. But there we have our volunteer eggplant, and it had slight discoloration on its leaves. I don't know why it has discoloration on its leaves, but it does. See? And I don't know if I'm gonna really care too much about it, just because it was a volunteer, and my other eggplants are doing super amazing, guys. I'm gonna show them to y'all. They're doing so amazing. I could give to lose this one, and I'll be perfectly fine. See? So yeah, and I thought there was another one. Yeah, there's another one right in there. I don't know if y'all were able to see that, but it's back there too, but it has the same discoloration. I'm not even gonna cage that one. So yeah. Now y'all remember I tried doing herbs at one point, and it started going well, but then things started getting like super overgrown, and I don't even know what's going on anymore. There used to be like mint down there, or basil. There still is, but it's way down in there. There's this like weird, I told y'all, this weird like berry plant that started growing. Look, has like weird berries. These are the leaves. And I ate one, it tastes like nothing. Like if nothing had a flavor, that was it. Then there was like, there's parsley down here. And then, okay, and then this is catnip. It attracts cats. And ladies and gentlemen, I've been having cat problems with, oh geez, there's the bee. I've been having cat problems with my chickens so often, and the cat comes in, he bothers them and stuff. And I think this is partially my fault, because the other night I came out and the cat was sitting right here. What if the cat was attracted to the catnip, and that's the whole reason he's been hanging around in my yard in the first place? I was thinking about that the other day. I think it's my fault. And if it is, then it's my fault. But guys, there's basil popping up all over the place. Look at that. Another little basil. Cool. Oh guys, and then check this out. I found this planted next to the eggplant over there. Transplanted it about a week ago, a little more than a week ago, and the transplant went great. And see, that little leaf is a little... Here, let's see if we can focus. Oh well. But yeah, there's like a little bit of new growth. Yeah, you guys could see it right there coming out. So the transplant went well. And this is actually a mulberry tree. You cannot plant these. It's illegal in the state of Texas. So, yeah. But, guys, give it, what, 50, 60 years? That thing will turn into this. Check it out. See that big old tree in my backyard? 50, 60 years, it'll turn into that monster. From that little, what is it? Like a 7-inch plant. It'll just grow like crazy. So I'm gonna keep it. I'm gonna see how big it could grow. All right, guys. Now we have these the hot Fresnos and the jalapenos. Oh, geez, sorry, I just bumped y'all. Guys, look at that. A little nugget of flowers coming through. That's crazy. I've never seen them grow like that. But guys, these guys are really stocky, really pudgy, really kind of bunched up together, and I'm not sure why they've been like this year and last year. And I need to come through and pick these guys because you can see all the red spots just etched throughout the landscape. And I need to come through and get all these guys, but the leaves have been getting kind of weird. Normally, like, the leaves for my peppers are usually just really broad, really dark, but then for the hot Fresnos, they've gotten scrunched up, taco shelled, and kind of discolored, and a little bit hard. I'm not sure what that's indicative of, but I think that these guys aren't growing super well like the other peppers, because the other peppers are like outstanding. I don't think these guys are growing up to that, how do I say, to match their brothers, just because the amount of sun that they're getting. When the sun comes in, guys, these guys are all shaded from that giant purple plum tree. But when the sun comes in through the morning, sun arcs across the sky, and then now we have this little dude. This is an apple pear. He's not particularly huge at all. He's just kind of bunched up together. And then because of that, these guys get a whole bunch of sunlight. And since I told y'all it's super hot, then I don't think these guys were able to hack it as well. So I don't know, but they still put on a whole lot of peppers. So even though they don't look the greatest, their peppers are super awesome. They put on very many of them, and they're very numerous, albeit pudgy. See? So that's that, ladies and gentlemen. We go through the fairy garden and then into the sweet pepper box. Ladies and gentlemen, these leaves, look at the size of this leaf. Guys, this leaf is like, oh, that's 2 leaves, but look how big that leaf is. This leaf is crazy. These guys don't get a whole lot of sunlight, and that's why their leaves are just like irregularly large, I think, is because they don't get as much sunlight. They have a giant peach tree covering them, and then now they have to like absorb more sunlight, and so their leaves are really broad. But there's so many peppers on here, guys. The peppers are weighing down the plants. I told you all this last time. Like, these peppers are they're like weighing down the plant. Like, look at that. That's a huge pepper. Like the ones you buy in the store. Oh, and there's that cantaloupe we were talking about back there. But look, like, super huge. This guy already fell over. I'm not even gonna pick him up. Look at that. Another pepper. I forget which ones are the orange suns and which ones are the better bells, but I think these on the right are the orange suns. Although I'm not sure, but there's peppers all over the place. So these guys are super awesome, although I've noticed that sweet peppers tend to take a little bit longer to mature than hot peppers do. A little bit interesting, little bit interesting. There's none of them ready right now that I could show y'all, so that box is kind of quick to go over. And then, guys, here we have our habanero that I put inside a bucket. So I'm gonna try and overwinter this one, which is gonna be a little bit interesting. But he put on 1 habanero, and oh, look, there's a little one coming out right there. Little baby habaneros. A couple more little small ones. This guy's, he's actually putting on a fair amount. Look, there's like 4 more right there. He's putting on a fair amount of habaneros just from being in a bucket. It's super great. I think he kind of rooted into the ground though, because I haven't moved him in a while. So yeah, but I noticed, because I had him out here before, and his leaves are getting a little bit scrawny, so I put him underneath the shade of the apricot tree, and now he's really taken off. So I think sunlight plays a really big role, especially in how chilies develop, and the amount of water they get too kind of correlates within that sunlight spectrum. They both go hand in hand, and they can affect one another, I think. I think that's at least what I've observed over the last 2 years of growing these peppers. The peppers really like sandy soil, and they like warm temperatures, and they also like sun. But depending on the amount of each that you give them can like vary the amount of the other that they need. It's hard to explain, and I'm not the best at explaining it, or the best to even make a claim at this, because obviously I'm just like a hobbyist. It's not like something I've gone to school for, so And this is all just pure speculation from a novice. So yeah, here we have our mint, guys. Now this guy, he's actually, I think he's kind of stopped growing a little bit ever since we trimmed him back. He grew to this, another bee. Oh, that's the 4th bee attack today, ladies and gentlemen. Oh geez. All right. Oh guys, I think, oh my God, I'm an idiot. I was like, why are all these bees attacking me today? I'm wearing a freaking tie-dye shirt. That's so hilarious. I was like, why are they attacking me? I'm wearing a tie-dye shirt. That's so dumb. Okay. Well, this guy, I think he stopped growing for the year, so I'm gonna need to trim him back, and then we'll see what happens. But guys, check out this grape. This super awesome grape that we planted. I come out and intertwine him so often. Look, he needs to be intertwined again. He starts growing, and I have to I'll stick him back down in there. Well, I'll stick him back when he's a little bit bigger, but look, he just intertwines himself. He grew all the way out here. He's growing into the oleander bushes, and then he grows all the way over here, out that way. This is crazy, huh? This is one tree, one grapevine. It's insane, but I love it. But the grapevine and the leaves kind of get a slight discoloration once they've been on the vine for a little while, because this is all new growth. See the color difference? And I don't know why they get this exactly, or if it's some kind of deficiency or disease or something, but the leaves all kind of get like that. Although I don't think this is that peculiar, because I think I've seen this before, but I'm not 100% sure. Either way, it seems like the plant is super healthy. It's growing super awesomely. So yeah. Guys, and then we have our New Mexico number 6, our long green peppers. Guys, I'm gonna be completely honest. I think I've neglected this box in the corner of my, this is the whole garden. I think I've neglected this guy more than any other plant in my, this group of plants, more than any other plant in my garden, just because I haven't been keeping up with it. I haven't really been picking these guys as often as I should in order to promote growth of other peppers. And it's just kind of awkward. I know these guys are supposed to be super huge, because these are the peppers that you put in on steaks and stuff, but for some reason they're not. Well, I'm saying for some reason they're not super huge, but I know that's entirely my fault, is because I haven't been picking them. So they've been putting their all their effort into keeping on plants that should have already been picked already, or keeping on peppers that should have already been picked already, and giving out a whole bunch of peppers rather than just really big ones. So yeah, but I told you guys I tied one of these guys up. See, there's the string. I tied one of these guys up because he was falling over. Hey, look, a watermelon. So yeah, I need to come through and get all this, guys. And I keep telling you guys that I need to come through and get all that. It's because all the produce. It's because I kind of I've been kind of procrastinating on coming through and picking everything. Because guys, it's hot, and by the time I come out here, I just kind of want to sit down and look at my chickens. So I've been kind of procrastinating on this, I'll be completely honest with y'all. But guys, we have volunteer watermelons. I like the color difference you can see. It's really apparent in the camera. It's not so much apparent in the through the human eye, but it's very, very apparent in the camera. Just the color difference, the very, very dark green of the peppers compared to the bluish green of the watermelons. It's super cool. I always thought that was super awesome, and it's something I picked up on a little earlier this year. But now, guys, we're gonna finish off. We're gonna go to the last couple boxes, and we'll see what happens. Oh my God, look! Guys, that is very significant. My rooster, Cocky Rocky, is hanging out with the other hens. I needed that to happen because I have 2 roosters, and I wanted them to each have their own flock, so that's cool. All right, guys, now here we have our squash pile. Guys, this looks like an absolute mess, straight up. But this giant squash, you can see all the little arms, the tentacles coming out. One squash fruit that's ready, one of them that's on the way. Then back here, I noticed this the other day, a couple more squash. There's a star one right there, another one right there, and then another one down in there. So we have 3 going on, and then let me go around this way to show y'all. Over here, ladies and gentlemen, is a bunch of cantaloupes. This is like a giant wall of super healthy, super big cantaloupe leaves. It just kind of goes all around here. Even a watermelon. Look at the little watermelon. But super awesome. Oh, look! Little baby. I didn't even plant these, guys. They're volunteer cantaloupes from the botched compost I made. So that's super cool. I think that's like really awesome actually, because I didn't even plant those guys. They planted themselves. We're gonna skip the tomatoes because I already ranted about those guys and they just kind of get me mad every time I see them. Sorry, y'all, I was looking at my chickens. They're just kind of chasing each other. Oh guys, check this out. Okay, so before we get on to the eggplants, these are the membrillos. I haven't really talked about the trees a whole lot in the last couple months or so, just because there's really not a whole lot to talk about. But recently, over the last week or so, these guys have been getting some heft to them. Branches, the tree is kind of bending over. These membrillos, quince trees, getting some heft to them. So we're gonna be able to pick these and show you guys the finished product, because I don't even know what they look like when they're matured. Show you guys what they look like eventually. But look, it's my hand. Cool. I always kind of noticed, or I started to notice that getting a sense of scale within my garden videos is a little bit harder. So I'm gonna try and like measure up my hand, the average size hand, to things a little bit more often. Like I still kind of do that, but I kind of want to do a little bit more, because getting a sense of scale and how big things are is a little bit harder to do through the video, just kind of because like the lens and everything, it distorts it. So yeah, oh yeah, so here we have a bunch of volunteer watermelons that decided to just start growing, and our eggplants. Now I lost 2 eggplants the other day. I don't want to say lost, but the vine grew so large, the branch, that when the eggplants got up to the top of it, it just kind of fell and it snapped off. But ladies and gentlemen, there is a couple eggplants I want to show you. Look at that. Oh, it scared me. But a couple eggplants, like look at that one. Ladies and gentlemen, look at that. That one's awesome. Couple more in here. And these guys have actually been really, really productive this year. So I'm happy about those eggplants. And I had actually trimmed off a whole bunch of these eggplants beforehand. Now they're putting all their energy into a couple of them, which is really, really cool. So ladies and gentlemen, it's August 24th, 2016, and I think it's time I end it here. So I hope you all enjoyed this video, and if you did, enjoy it. Guys, I was just gonna ask that if you guys have any comments or criticisms about my garden, tomatoes in particular, because I rage about these guys so often. If you have any comments or criticisms about my garden, or anything you want to tell me, things I could improve on, things that you think I need to do, or things I shouldn't do, or just tell me what you think. I'll take it all into consideration, and I'll be glad to hear exactly what you guys say. Hey, look, another cantaloupe. Another one. So yeah, guys, I'm gonna end it here. I hope you all enjoyed, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.